All right, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is EduMatch Connects live stream, and I am the host, Desmond Hasty. I am the community director here at EduMatch. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me all right. Dr. Sarah, if you can give us a thumbs up somewhere to make sure we're doing that. I believe I've lost connection.
You're good?
Yeah. All right, I'm good. Thank you so much. All right. So like I said before, thank you so much for joining us. This is our EduMatch Connect. Number 4, EduMatch. A little bit about EduMatch. We're an education community and publishing company dedicated to connecting educators, amplifying diverse voices, and empowering learning through collaboration, professional growth, and meaningful resources. Like I said, I'm the community director here at EduMatch, and my goal, hopefully I'm doing successfully, is to help connect educators, foster meaningful conversations, and build opportunities for our community to learn and grow together. Today's topic is on teacher well-being. We have 2 fantastic panelists here. I'm going to introduce both of them. Dr. Heather Lyon, Superintendent of Lindenville Central School District in New York, and Mr. Brian Kulak, K-5 Public Elementary School Principal of Tatum Elementary in Collingswood, New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Desmond.
Yeah.
Thank you. So as I said before, our topic today is teacher well-being. What are we actually doing about it? And today I wanted us to focus on exploring how educators, school leaders, and communities, everyone involved in education, can move beyond talking about well-being to taking meaningful action. The duration is about 30 minutes. And if you wouldn't mind, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off with our initial question. So I can pull this thing up here. And what are schools or organizations doing that generally support teacher well-being, and what's simply checking a box?
Brian, do you want to start?
Sure. Thanks, Heather. Yeah, so this is a passion of mine that I've been focused on for a lot of years. And one of the things I struggle with is why it took so long for our field to catch up with the necessity of teacher well-being. You know, I feel like COVID hit, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute, the teachers need love and care too. So the people who were doing it long before the pandemic caused us to are way ahead of the game, which I'm sure Heather is, and in my school, we certainly are too. I think checking the boxes is the worst possible thing we can do for our teachers. I know, there are micromanagers and people who just lack the humanity, especially in central administration positions. But once you lose that, or if you've never had it, I'm not sure why people would want to work for you. So I would just say that my focus for our staff is always the human above the educator, because that's their full-time job, is being human, or being a mom or a dad or whatever. I'm just fortunate enough to get them 7 hours a day. So we spend a lot of time on check-ins. I think I probably check in more, maybe often than I need to, but I just have this empathic desire. Just, you see somebody's expression change, or they just seem a little bit downtrodden on a certain day, or even the lilt to their voice is gone. I think we owe it to them to check in as often as possible. And whether we provide them with resources or services, or just somebody to listen, even though we're in a position of power, I think kind of helps to diminish whatever is going on in that person's life. What do you think, Heather?
I really loved what you said about the humanity of teachers, because they're just people too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our traditional paradigm of thinking about the educational system, it centers students, and then there's spokes off of that student circle in the center that are all of the people who connect to students, right? Teachers, administrators, their parents, etc. That's a paradigm that I used to embrace, but I don't embrace anymore. I have created what I call a targeted model of leadership, where students are still at the center. But if you think of a bullseye picture, where students are at the center, the next ring out are the people who directly connect with the students, meaning their families and teachers. And the next ring out are building leaders, meaning administrators or teacher leaders, and so forth. And that really has helped me reframe what I think about when I think about what is our role in education, because the people who are furthest away are only indirectly connected to those students. And the question that we need to ask the people who are in these successive rings are not, what do the students need to be successful? Like when I'm sitting as a superintendent talking to the principal, I shouldn't be asking the principal necessarily directly, what do the students need? I should be asking the principal, what do you need in order to be successful with those people who you lead and support directly, which would be the teachers and the families. And then they're asking the question, what do the students need? And I think we often fear that we're going to get a adult-based answer, that we're going to disregard kids. But never in my career have I ever asked an adult, what do you need? And their answer was like massages and mimosas. That's not what they say, right? They say things like, I need help prioritizing because everything right now feels important. What's really important? They say things like, I need common planning time so that I can work with these people because we're supposed to be a team, but we don't have time built in. Well, that's a systems issue that leaders have the responsibility to navigate on behalf of those people who we serve. So when I think about that well-being question, I really think about the humanity and what are the humans that we work with most directly in need of so that they can meet the needs of the people who they work with most directly and so forth.
Yeah.
Really well said. I definitely like the human aspect of it a lot. Lots of times, and I'm a former educator, as we talked about before, we get caught into the processes or we kind of forget who we're serving. I mean, whether it's just a teacher focused or an admin focus, getting things done, or maybe even a student focus, and thinking about the human first is a big deal, kind of like a people first language thing.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate all of those comments, because starting there, then you can actually work on like how to heal and how to prevent and create better boundaries. So, I mean,
go ahead, Heather.
Yeah.
No, we're excited about the conversation. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, I tell this all the time. I was just at a conference out here in New Jersey presenting on culture, and I use this example all the time, and it resonates. It'll never leave my leadership brain. Adam Grant is an organizational psychologist out here.
Love him.
I know I see you guys. Everyone loves him. He's amazing. He's changed my whole leadership platform. But he was talking to Danny Meyer, the CEO of Shake Shack, and Danny Meyer is super successful, and he talks about the customer is not always first. And like, there's like a gasp from people, like, how can you possibly say that? And he says, well, wait a minute. If I'm doing a good job as the leader supporting our employees and they love coming to work and they know what they're going to get and they love the support they get from me, that's going to increase their productivity or their customer engagement, which will bring people back in, which makes me money. So I love the idea of flipping it. I think teachers are supposed to be the front line of the students come first. But as leaders, Heather and I and others who are watching, our job, I think, is to make sure that our people are prepared and supported and loved and all the things to get them to want to do their best job for the kids. And I know, Heather, I love that you said that some people might scoff at that. Like, wait a minute, this is a kid first. I saw somebody commented, yeah, of course it's kid first, right? But because we're removed just a little bit, because we're in the office, our job is to make sure that our people are cared for. So Desmond, back to your original question, that's teacher well-being is like me thinking mindfully and often about how my people are doing, what I can do to help them take things off their plate. I saw the paperwork comment. I totally agree. Meetings, all that stuff. That's what's going to get that concentric circle to kind of be a little bit smaller that you were talking about, Heather, because then we're really closer to the source. But my job is to make sure that like Danny Meyer said, the employees come first.
Yeah, I'll see your Adam Grant and I'll raise you a Simon Sinek.
There you go.
Right. So Simon Sinek, there's this really great YouTube video that I, just like you, when I present, the Simon Sinek video is a part of it. And he talks about if I ask a leader what their number one job is, they're going to say, or a principal, what your number one job is, they're going to say the students. And he says, that's all wrong. The job of the leader is not to focus on the results, but to focus on the people who are responsible for the results.
1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in the same way that the Shake Shack guy, he wants to, He's not saying that his employees are always right. He's saying that his job as the leader is to make an environment where the employees want to show up,
Correct.
where they want to do their best, where they feel supported by the people who are creating those conditions. Because you and I are not the people serving the shakes to the customers. We're the people who are making sure that, the ice cream is there, that the oven is working, that all of those things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, this is like an episode all on its own. For that one question, right? Thank you so much. Really good conversation. I'm learning so much because just moderating it allows me to take a step back and look at the perspective of an administrator. And I haven't ever asked questions like this. So 2 administrators is kind of like I hit the jackpot over here.
That might be an overstatement, but I'll take the compliment for sure.
Hey, listen, you got to take it. Listen, as educators, you have to take it when you get it.
You're right. Take the wins. You're right, Des. Yep.
It's the $500 scratch off, not the,
Yeah, exactly.
A win is a win, though, right?
Yeah, a win is a win. Right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question. What are schools or organizations doing that generally support teacher well-being? Oh, I think I said that. Sorry. Oops. I skipped over. We're going to reverse it then. I think I said that. The phrase teacher well-being, what does it actually mean to you?
Good, Heather. Your turn.
So I think that's embedded in the things that we were just talking about. And to me, last year was my first year in Lindenville as a superintendent. And I stood up in front of my teachers on opening day and said, welcome back. But you need to know who I am and what my values are, because I will use them in my work. And one of my core values is psychological safety.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. Those 2 words. Oh, man. That's amazing. We're on the same page. Yeah.
I know, right? But not everybody is familiar with that term, but it basically means that you can show up without fear or risk of being perceived as wrong or a failure if you try or you put your idea out there, et cetera, et cetera. And so I want to be a place where we can all be learners together and safely take risks. In Amy Edmondson's book on psychological safety called The Fearless Organization, she talks about this hospital and 2 hospitals, one where they have a high incidence of errors that are self-reported by the employees, and one where it's a low incidence of self-reported errors. And the question is, which hospital do you want to go to? And on face value, you want to go to the hospital you think where they have these lower incidents of errors. But in reality, it doesn't mean there are fewer errors there. There are actually more errors there. They're just too scared to bring it up and to surface that. You want to work in an environment where when you make a mistake, you can name it, you can own it, and you can move forward without a fear of somebody negatively judging you. Brian, pick up on that. What were you going to say?
I cannot believe, as you started, I'm like, psychological safety. It's like over and over again, because I just, it's such a mantra for us at Tatum. So I think that the humility that somebody had pointed out too is a huge one. I think there's some measure of deference that I think is important too. So to give you an example, when I got to Tatum 8 years ago, the first thing I said quite literally is, I need you more than you need me. That's just the way it is. I'm not here to change, disrupt, or bring in something that is uncomfortable for y'all. I need to learn from you. And then to take it a step further, I know this sounds, again, kind of antithetical to what we usually hear, but I do not have an open door policy. I think that's terrible practice. Here's why. My door is closed when I'm with somebody who needs that door to be closed. So that's the literal, right? We could talk about this metaphorically as well, but I can't imagine putting my finger up in the middle of a teacher giving me some news that is horrifying or whatever. I'm sorry, there's somebody at the door. Can I get that? I just can't imagine doing that. So I think that psychological safety also can be manifested through real presence as often as we possibly can. And I know we get tired and sidetracked, but teachers know they can come to us. They're going to get our undivided attention, and whatever I can do to help in that moment, I will do. And that door is going to stay shut. Now, the door does open at the end of the day when it's a revolving door. Heather, you might know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. I love that time of day when people kind of talk to me about their day or what's going on. But people need one-on-one time too. Otherwise, we are trying to service. Someone just said this about kids, but service all our staff in a sort of carbon copy way, and that's disingenuous. So I won't do that. So I think the humility, the deference, and the idea that we too make mistakes, and we are meant to model how to overcome them in front of our staff instead of putting our hands up or kicking it down the line or whatever the case may be. I have made more mistakes than I can count, and I will own them, because that just makes the next mistake by a teacher, I think, hurt or sting a little less, because they know that I have their back. And I think that's the most important thing we can do.
Yeah, this is about customer service, right? I think adults are oftentimes really reluctant to ask for help. So if somebody trusts you enough that they are coming to you for help, it's for two reasons. One is that they trust you. You've demonstrated trustworthiness. And the other is that they have already tried other outlets and not found the resolve that they need in order to be successful. So if somebody is going to come and ask for help, I am going to be grateful that they trust me to be able to execute on that.
One of the best things I love that happens, Heather, is when a younger staff member will come to me and they'll say, well, so-and-so said I should talk to you.
Yes, right?
Like, thank God. First of all, and I don't think they're watching, but my staff is so phenomenal. I'm so proud of them all the time. And I think that's why our culture is the way it is. But could you imagine the opposite? Like, don't go to Brian. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. I would leave. I would just resign. Like, if that's what I was making people feel like daily, I would not be able to be in this field anymore. So I think, probably both are very intentional with how approachability can then lead to results. And that result might be the psychological safety that young 22 or 23-year-old teacher is just dying to have. And then she can kind of take a deep breath and get back to business. You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, I walk around the building. You walk around your building. And when I make calls to my principals or whatever, like, I'm always asking, what can I do for you? How can I help? How are things going? Like, if I'm going to call you and ask for something, I'm going to end that call by saying, since we're on the phone, what can I do for you? 9 out of 10 times people are like, no, I'm good. But but just being asked demonstrates that higher levels of humanity for other people that I want them to give to other people too. Yeah.
That asking is a big deal. I mean, asking, that's, I think, the ultimate, in addition to psychological safety, what precedes that is checking in on everyone. And when you say, like, you're calling people and checking in with your staff just to see what you can do to help, that is leading by example. So I think that, now go ahead. Yeah, please.
I gave this example to our staff one time. I said, if any of you were walking down the hallway and saw a kid curled up on the floor crying, regardless of whether that was your student or not, you would do something. You would notice it being off and you would do something. That's my job with you guys. So I have to be aware of the kid, the teacher who's off on a certain day, or if I know there's a certain date coming up that might be tough, like the loss of a parent or whatever the case may be. That's my job. So I would never walk past a teacher who I knew needed something from me, even just to check in, the same way that no teacher would do that for a kid. And I always say this when I read tweets or memes or whatever online that are about students, like, this is what students need. We need to do this for students. I always think to myself, what about the grownups? They're just kids grown up, man. I mean, it's the same. We all want the same things. Now, the level and the intensity might be a little different, but it's the same. It should be the same premise for whatever you're, being aware. Thank you to the commenter. Whatever your role is, being aware and being able to notice is a huge factor for us.
I definitely agree. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No.
Being aware of psychological safety, there's so many gems. I can't wait to go back and watch this, and this may be a blog in the process.
Nice.
Thank you so much for your just participating in awesome conversation so far. Moving along to more of a perspective check. Some people believe teacher well-being is a personal responsibility, while others say it's a leadership and systems issue. So which side are you choosing, or do you see it differently? Are there other options of how you'd see teacher well-being?
I am going to say I want to reject the notion of or and accept the possibility of and here. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's both. I just love, though, in this systems recognition piece of things, because
Yeah.
I am in my professional life, I'm in my chapter of systems. Like, I don't look at individuals and think, oh my God, what is happening with this person? I think, oh my God, what is happening with this system that allows this person to behave in this way? And so I want to take a step back and think about the system at large before I think of the person individually, especially if something is going wrong. But I think as human beings, we have a level of agency, and we should all have the opportunity to be responsible for ourselves. And I think we have to, especially as leaders, create systems that support well-being. And years ago, I wrote a blog post about this targeted model of leadership, and somebody that I knew read it, and then we were talking about it. And she was saying, I feel like I'm focused, like as a district, we're focused on the adults, and but they don't seem to like what we are providing for them for their well-being. And I'm like, well, have you asked? My connection with EduMatch is that I've written books, and engagement is not a unicorn, it's a narwhal.
Yay.
And the big book of engagement strategies. And I'm just going to say that engagement is a human model, not just a student or a paradigm here. The way we get to engagement is by asking people questions, and like, what would work for you? Giving them choice and voice is the easiest way to bring somebody from non-compliant or compliance to interested and absorbed. And I think if we're answering the question about well-being with like, oh, a dress down day, or oh, here's some pizza in the staff room, I think that's not really what makes people feel like you truly are concerned about their well-being. I mean, if the first response we got in the comment was less paperwork, then I think there are things that are bigger than just like, hey, good job.
Yeah. So I was going to say the same thing again. Shocker. That this has to be an and proposition. But I'll kind of go in reverse and say, I think it is malpractice if we think it's on teachers exclusively to take care of themselves. I completely, I mean, again, that's one of the situations, that's a hill I will completely die on. How dare any of us say, you got to deal with it. You got to be here at 8:00. I don't care what's going on. The amount of emotional stuff that comes to our doors every day from our staff, again, can't be discounted because they're our staff or teachers. They are going through trauma and loss and love and all the things that are wrapped up into this, humanity that we are all living. So if we just say, look, I don't have time for the fact that you just lost a child. I'm sorry, go to therapy. Could you imagine what kind of culture and what kind of people we would be? So that's kind of where I think I would shift it. It is an and proposition, but I also think it's incumbent upon us to do what we can to help teachers get the help or the well-being that they may need. And Heather, I'm so glad you said, like, I thought about those cat posters that just like,
yes, hang in there.
Just hang in there. Yep. Or the jeans day that you still have to pay for. I don't know where these ideas came from other than an incredibly old school model that none of us subscribe to. That should just be the norm anyway. And especially, and this is a really silly example, but if you're an elementary teacher, you are on the rug a lot, right? Yeah. So in fact, to make these women wear something that is from a puritanical time gone by in the name of I have no idea what, instead of saying just wear whatever makes you comfortable. I don't care, whatever. That again that's a small token of what we can make into a bigger cultural conversation. But to me, we cannot punt on well-being because we're in central office or building leadership, and you guys are just the teachers. Because there will come a time when we will need the love and support of our staff if we are so vulnerable and communicative about our needs or whatever's happening in our lives. They will not do that if you're going to ask for it after never having given it. So I think it's a two-way proposition for sure.
Oh, I can't hear you, Desmond.
Oh yeah. Heather and I can just keep talking.
Very well said. I don't want to run out of time, but I definitely want to give you, I'd say about 3.5 to 4 minutes on this last question of a takeaway. Whenever we do these chats, it's only the 4th time, but I want the attendees, the viewers, either of you to take something away from our conversation. And I'm going to leave you with this last question. What's one realistic habit, boundary, or strategy an educator could put into practice tomorrow to support their well-being? And because both of you are administrators, I want to just put like educator, administrator, anything. What's one realistic habit?
Brian, go for it.
Yeah. So one thing this is actually a perfect segue because this is going to be year 1 of me being really adamant about this, Desmond. I want all our teachers to shut it down, especially email and dojo when they leave. I can't, they're so professional and so desirous of helping whatever email comes through. But if a parent is emailing you at 9:00 at night, think about how little they think of the whole you, which is what we were talking about for this last half hour. Oh, she'll answer me because she's the teacher. Well, listen, we are not answering dojos. We're not answering emails after hours. You can schedule send it, which is the greatest invention ever, text and email. I schedule send everything, and then I go back and especially if I'm fired up. But I just don't want, I cannot stand the idea of being at the beck and call of our families. It's just not appropriate. And we've gotten way out of hand with it. So I think a very micro thing to do that I really want our staff to do this year is when you decide to leave, now it might not be at 3:15 because we have folks that stay till 5:15, right? But when that laptop shuts, you are in full mom or spouse or auntie or whatever role you're playing when you leave there. And one of those roles has to be you. If you're going to the gym, you're going to meditate or do some, whatever it is that you're going to do, I don't want you thinking about dojo because that parent just dinged through. So I'm probably making this up because I'm full of it, but I'm going to be tough with it. I can't enforce it other than say, guys, please honor your own time because I do. What do you think, Heather?
That is so funny because, of course, that's what I was going to say.
This is people who are watching, we did not set this up. It seems like Desmond just kind of put the strings together and but we are not, this was not planned.
No, so I reject the concept of work-life balance. I just think that creates a mindset that as though that's somehow achievable, as though you turn off one switch when you're at work and you turn off the switch, whatever. It's ludicrous, but I am a firm believer in boundaries. And so really, Brian, what I heard you say is to try to identify and maintain boundaries that support your own well-being. I don't know anybody who feels good about getting an email at 9:00 at night and then responding to that email at 9:00 at night. And Brian, I don't know if you have kids or not. I do. I have 3. Only 2 of them are still in P12 setting, or I'm sorry, only 1 of them. I know what it's like to be a parent and send that email to an educator. I don't want to minimize the importance or value that the parent puts into that communication to a teacher. All I'm saying is if they sent it at 9:00, they should not have an expectation that you respond at 9:01.
100%.
That's all. Yep. Not that you will never respond, but that it doesn't have to be at outside of a certain boundary that you have set for yourself.
Yep.
So I want to honor the families that reach out and thank them. Like, we're not mind readers, so please let us know, how we can better serve you and your child. At the same time, you can't drink from an empty cup. So people need to find ways to be filled and to find their work fulfilling, because this is a service-oriented profession. So you're in service to others, but that doesn't mean that you should be neglecting yourself.
Well said.
Oh boy, there we go. All right.
Sorry about that. As I toggle between all of the things to make sure everyone's seen and heard. Awesome responses. I'm gonna watch this probably a few times because there's so many gems. And one of the common things that both of you ended up saying is the boundaries part. I mean, boundaries are major.
And if we can't respect our own, we can't expect other people to do that for us. Like,
again, leading by example.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's why I want to piggyback off of what Brian was saying, is just leading by example. When you do that, and Brian, I believe that you're going to encourage your faculty and staff.
That's a good word. Encourage.
Hey, listen, it's again, but having those extra responsibilities outside, sometimes I trick myself and I say, you know what? I'm going to schedule something at 5:30 when I should be out of here at 5 o'clock to hold myself more accountable. And I play mind games with myself all the time. But again, I sometimes have to trick myself into getting into boundaries. And like I downloaded a video game the other day to practice relaxing, you know what I mean? And
good for you. Practice relaxing is so funny.
It's so real though. It's so real. So respecting the boundaries, our time has just ended. I definitely appreciate both of you, Dr. Heather, Brian, for coming on. This has been, I hope no one hates me on this. This has been the best conversation so far.
Oh,
and
for sure. Everybody.
No, seriously, I'm locked in. So I wish I could keep going for another half an hour, but respecting the time. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely discourse on YouTube. And I wanted to just post briefly, our next topic is on September 20th, always a Sunday at 6 o'clock. It's community building in hybrid and remote schools. So again, thank you so much, you two, including me three. And I'll be sure to give you your proper props on the social media, as well as in the comments on YouTube. I'm going to tell people how they can find you and your websites, etc. Okay.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Have a great evening and practice those boundaries. Okay.
You got it.
Take care.